Here is some parched barley tea, Kondo. Supposedly it lowers the body's temperature.
Oh, thank you. The tea you pour is always easy to drink. It's perfect, Yukimura.
Thank you. He was deep in thought, arms crossed and stern. Things were bad since Lord Yamochi's death. Kondo especially was having a difficult time. Yeah, we were on top of the world not that long ago. Perhaps it was best if I simply left him alone. I turned and had already begun to walk away when he spoke.
Matsumoto is examining Souji right now.
Did he know about Okita's illness? What did he say?
He hasn't said anything yet. I hope it's nothing serious. If something happened to Souji, I don't know how I'd be able to face her.
Her?
When we left for Kyoto, Mitsu, his older sister, asked me to look out for him.
He's got a sister? Souji, Okita's older sister. Okay. Oh, Okita has an older sister?
He does. They lost their parents when they were children, so Mitsu was Souji's parental figure and raised him.
Ah, I see. Okita seems to have been through a lot.
Well, he's an honest man. I'm sure he didn't think he went through a lot.
Seriously. To call a twisted man like him honest, I think you would be the only person in all of Japan who'd say that. Oh, Hijikata.
Oh, Toshi! How are you? Did you want some tea too?
No, I don't need any, but... Did you hear about the notice board over by Sanjo Ohashi Bridge? A board to notify the public of established laws regarding specific people or affairs. And Sanjo, eh? Let's see. A bridge over the Kamo River at Sanjo Street in Kyoto. It is the last stop on the Tokaido and Nakasendo roads, 2 of the 5 routes of Edo. Okay.
Yes, I've heard. The notice board about the Choshu's crime, right?
Some assholes pulled it out and tossed it into the Kamo.
Of course, I heard about that as well. But I thought that they put the notice board back up the next day.
They did. Same thing happened. I think they're gonna ask us to keep an eye on it pretty soon.
It got torn out at night, didn't it? What do you say to using Sanan's Fury Core, then?
The Fury Core.
You think it's a bad idea?
They work hard enough, but... they tend to get a little excited. Whenever we give them something to do, they end up slaughtering the other side. That's not enough for him, though. They go in and hack the corpses to bits. Most of the time, they're not even recognizable. Maybe they're doing it to try and hide the Shinsengumi's hand, but they're going too far. We're not just a pack of murderers. I told them to knock it off, but they won't listen. They just want to play with their corpses. They keep this up and we're no better than those night cutters. Sanan, what are you doing? I felt a shiver snake down my spine as he spoke. Even after a year, I remembered with terrifying clarity what I'd seen when I first arrived in Kyoto. The Furies. They'd behaved as if possessed by evil spirits, their swords mercilessly hacking away at dead men. It hadn't been hatred or fear that drove them, but some sort of twisted amusement. I didn't think I'd ever forget the half-mad smiles each had worn. I've got a few other ideas.
Good, good. I'll leave the details to you then, Toshi. Yes. Have you heard about Lord Yoshinobu, Hito Tsubashi, the old guardian of the Shogun?
I hope I said that right? Hito Tsubashi, I think? Lord Yoshinobu. Born into the Mito Takagawa clan, he was adopted into the Hito Tsubashi house to increase his chances to be 15th shogun. He held the position of guardian prior to becoming shogun. And guardian of the shogun, I assume, is someone who guards the shogun? position created during the Bakumatsu period to assist whoever held the office of shogun.
Yeah, what about him? I've heard a couple people say he's like Ieyasu reborn. I don't know about that, but I do hear he's pretty sharp.
Before long, they'd started to discuss politics I didn't understand, and I politely excused myself. Turmoil everywhere. I thought back on what Hichikata had said. It was true Sanan had been acting strange, and the Fury Corps had been getting more and more violent. There was a lot on my mind, but what worried me the most was... Sen? Weird? I guess because her reaction to her name? The notice board or the Furies? Well, I don't know if this choice matters, but... I mean, the Furies are kind of a going concern, and they're directly connected to me, so... Yeah, maybe that one? I mean, Sen's kind of connected to me, too. Where does the Furies take us? We just, like... Was that... Did that actually mean anything, or are we just, like, thinking about it now? No, time has passed again. Weird. Just as Hichikata had predicted, the Shinsengumi received an official request to guard the notice board at the Sanjo Ohashi Bridge. As it turned out, the Vandals were 8 men from the Tosa domain. Harada and his division were well prepared, and captured them when they attacked at the Kamo River. Harada was given a reward by the Aizu for his service, and he took the rest of the captains to Shimabara to celebrate. Of course. I had remained at the temple to eat my dinner alone, but my heart felt like a lead weight in my chest, and it chased away any appetite I might have had. What's going to happen to the Shinsengumi and the Fury Corps? Oh, speaking of... Almost as if on cue, the door slid open and Sanan stepped through. Oh, hello, Sanan. Can I help you?
Good evening. You didn't go to Shimabara with the others?
Yes. I'm not that great with drinking parties, so...
Ah, I see.
Sanan nodded in understanding, and his eyes beamed with color as he gazed at me. The cold full moon was visible, and maybe it was because of the nighttime. But Sanan's eyes possessed a tint of danger. I'm a little worried. Sanan?
So, what do you think? About the serum, the water of life, that is.
What do you mean?
Wouldn't you agree that this serum has had results beyond comprehension? After all, when my left arm rendered me useless, I looked to its properties for aid. And it seems all too clear to me now that it was fated for me to improve and perfect the serum. It's an unshakable truth.
Sanan's words slithered creepily, and I couldn't bring myself to stop staring at the floor to hide from his line of sight. If I can't see him, he can't see me. His expression was so unfamiliar and nefarious, almost as if he was being possessed by something.
What is the matter? Why aren't you meeting me eye to eye? I'd expect you, of all people, to agree. You being the daughter of Kodo, who brought this divine creation onto us.
It was obvious that Sanan was not acting as his usual self. I just want to know what he's trying to get at. Like, what do you want? I'd rather you just come out and say it.
Why aren't you saying anything? It would be very regrettable if you were one to share the opinion of Dr. Matsumoto, who wants to bring the experiments to a halt.
I just remembered I have some chores that need doing, so I'll be... Just as I was on my way out...
Hold on a minute.
He roughly grabbed onto my wrists and yanked me. Ah! Oh. Was that my wrist snapping, or what was that noise? That was... he. I pulled against his grip, but he was far too strong for me to overcome. Please, stop! The horrible twitching madness in his eyes was too much for me, and I screamed. Oh, hello. What are you grabbing her for, Sanan? That's not how you impress a lady. See, she's terrified.
Oh, I got caught up in the moment. I lost control. I apologize.
On the other side of his glasses, Sanan's eyes returned to normal. The glint of madness was gone. While I felt relieved, Sanan had walked off as the others were walking in. As I watched him walk off, I looked back at Okita and the men. It's good to see you back. You're a little earlier than I expected, though. I was expecting you guys to come way later. Sana's gonna be drinking till morning if Shin has anything to say about it. I didn't think I could handle that much, so I left with this pair of sticks in the mud. It's only the three of you, then? What's the matter? Hijikata caught the eye of a lady at Sumi called Kimigiku. Oh, did he? She sat next to him the whole night. Kimigiku? Oh yeah, she was a beauty. Come on, was she that pretty? She totally was! Actually, I'm a little worried Sano might not have enough to pay for her. That's so. Meh, I'm not one to say if a broad is hot or not. Hot or not? Smash or pass? Souji Okita version. One of one of Kyoto's geigi, huh? She was probably just as beautiful as Heisuke said. They must have made a beautiful couple. Okay. Thanks for the distraction, I guess? I gazed down at myself, small, plain, and dressed like a boy. Suddenly, I felt very sad.
Is something wrong? You look unhappy.
Oh, no, it's nothing.
I imagine you're tired. Perhaps we should leave. You rest well, Yukimura.
I will, thank you. Saito must have been looking out for me. Yeah, he's a good bean. As Heisuke began to leave my room, something brought him to an abrupt halt and he turned to me. Hey, do you get the feeling like Sanan has been acting a little more strange lately? The two were silent, restrained by mixed emotions. Eventually, they both left the room. Even the captains who were with the Shinsengumi since Edo were beginning to grow suspicious of Sanan. I wonder what's going to happen from now on. I have no idea where this is going. Something's gonna happen soon, though. I can feel that. We're building towards something, another event of some kind. After that, the rest of the warriors who'd gone to Shimabara returned, and they told me in great detail about the Sanjo notice board incident, but out of everything I'd heard, there was one thing in particular that caught my attention. They told me that when Harada and his men had been attacked at Sanjo Ohashi, one of them had been someone who looked a lot like me. Kaoru? The strange person had tried to impede the Shinsengumi, and sided with the Vandals from the Tosa domain. I haven't left the temple, of course, and even if I had been at Sanjo Ohashi, I would never have tried to get in the Shinsengumi's way. Oh no. But if it wasn't me, then who? What could it mean? This news only fed the anxiety that had been slowly building within me. Maybe I should have been worried about Sen after all. January 1867. Has it been almost 3 years now? December 1866. I was sweeping a section of the compounds despite being nearly frozen to the bone. Well, that should do it. I wanted to help out as much as I could, but since they still refused to let me out without an escort, there wasn't a great deal I could do. Still, I helped clean our home, and that felt good. Hopefully they'd like it too.
Cleaning, I see. You're certainly hard at work.
Oh, hello, Kondo. It's really gotten cold lately, hasn't it?
Yes, it has indeed. I've been in Kyoto a while now, but I still can't get used to the weather.
He rubbed his hands together and blew on them, in a mostly vain attempt to warm them up. I've picked up a bunch of dead leaves, so I was thinking about roasting potatoes later. Would you like some? They'll warm you up. Kondo gave me a little wry smile.
Roasted potatoes, huh? I used to enjoy that. A long time ago.
Oh. I flushed with embarrassment. Kondo was a busy man, as management of the Shinsengumi was not easy. A man like that didn't have time for roasting potatoes. Do you have time to eat roasted potatoes? You've been really busy lately. I hope you're taking care of yourself.
Oh, right. Well, if I'm busy, then that means that the Shinsengumi is needed. It's an honor.
True. In the last several weeks, Kondo and Hijikata had left the temple often to go meet with important Shogunate officials. They scarcely had time to breathe, let alone relax. At that moment, almost as if my thoughts had summoned him, Hijikata appeared.
There you are, Kondo. Oh, Toshi, where were you? I was looking for you. They've chosen the next shogun. It's going to be Lord Yoshinobu Hitotsubashi.
Ah, so he made it, eh?
Him, huh? Well, no one else could probably do it, so he should just buckle down and accept the position instead of making a fuss about it. Toshi, that is not the way we should look at and speak of someone who's becoming the new shogun. They say the man is so wise that he is said to be an incarnate of Lord Ieyasu. Forget it. Doesn't really matter who the shogun is to us anyway. We're just here to fight for him. That's right. If we do our best, that means the shogun and the shogunate are safe and secure.
Only 20 days after Lord Yoshinobu had been officially inaugurated as the new shogun, the emperor suddenly passed away. It was especially hard on the emperor's younger sister, Kazunomiya, who had been married to Lord Ieyamochi. The emperor's little sister who married into the Ieyamochi Tokugawa household. Even though she was promised to a prince. This is one part of Japanese history that I am familiar with, and I've read a bit about Kazunomiya. She was originally betrothed to some prince, but then a lot of things changed, and she suddenly was betrothed to the future shogunate, and then he died not too soon into their marriage, and I can't remember if he was poisoned or what happened there. It's been a long time since I read about that. Married to Lord Ieyamochi and was intended to be a symbol of imperial unification, but everyone on both sides was shocked by his death. A political movement that sought to unify the upper echelons of the shogunal and imperial classes. Ieyamochi Tokugawa married the sister of the emperor in support of this movement. He was succeeded by the imperial prince, a young boy of only 15 years. In the turmoil, the activities of the Choshu domain went uninvestigated. The entire country of Japan found itself thrust into rapid motion. Yep, times a changin'. March 1867. March 1867. With the beginning of the new year came the end of Kyoto's harsh, freezing winter. A bright sun shone in the sky, and for the first time in a long while I felt the warmth of its rays. There was no question. It was a beautiful afternoon.
Oh, hello, Yukimura. Quite a nice day today, isn't it?
There you are! Run, 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 run. I hurried over toward him. Oh, hello, Inoue. Are you here with Kondo?
Yes, I am. We were taking a stroll around the compound together. We'd like to go outside, but if we leave without permission, I've no doubt Toshi would be terribly upset.
You're probably right. He sounded so adorable when he said that, I couldn't help but laugh.
Such is life, though. Why are you out and about? Is something wrong? You don't seem like you're cleaning or anything.
Right. Hijikata sent me to find you, Kondo.
Oh, then I apologize for the inconvenience. Did he say what he needed me for? Is there some manner of business I must attend to?
No, he didn't. I shook my head, and Kondo frowned slightly in thought.
Could it be about Souji?
There goes my heart again. My heart jumped.
Souji? Did he do something? Not exactly, but he's been rather under the weather lately. His cold has dragged on for so long now. I think Toshi is concerned. Oh, yes, he is something of a warrior.
I didn't feel right trying to assert myself in the conversation, so I kept my mouth shut and listened. Okita didn't have a cold. He had tuberculosis. How many people even knew the truth? Was I really the only person in his confidence, however accidental?
In any event, I suppose I ought to go see him. Thank you for telling me, Yukimura.
Oh, I guess I'll be going back to my room.
Thank you.
I bowed to both of them, turned around, and headed back. My mind was a whirlwind of thoughts as I made my way to my room. Then, out of nowhere... Chizaru, what are you doing here? Huh? My head snapped up at the sound of his voice. I spun around to find him sitting on the steps looking at me. But there was something that caught my attention. I'm scared. This music? Your hair looks so nice. Have you always been this beautiful? Is something wrong, Chizaru? Surprised to see me here? Come on, what's that face for? Not even going to say hi? I'm not dead yet. You... He tilted his head back and laughed, his hair blowing softly in the breeze. It was a very different sort of look for him, which was enough to unbalance me, but... It was also quite clear he'd just come from a bath. Really? That's your problem, girl? You've seen half-naked guys in a physical examination before. This is fine. Why are you outside dressed like that? And your hair is wet. Well, it was nice and warm today, and I haven't had a chance to bask in the sun in goddamn forever. But aren't you still sick? Yeah. My fever's gone down, though. That doesn't mean it's okay for you to... I was pretty sweaty after all that sleeping, so I took a bath. After that, I wanted to cool down, so I came out here. I don't care how nice the weather is, it's still March. You're going to give yourself another cold. That's funny, Chizaru. You don't look like an especially nosy, hand-wringing version of my mother. Or much like Hijikata. I wasn't quite sure what to say to that. Although I was beginning to understand how Hijikata likely felt. What? Did we just... What's happening? Did he just hug us? What are you doing? He looked up, already halfway through tying back his still damp hair. You have to dry your hair. Your head's going to get cold. Oh, that's what you're doing. That was the sound of him tying his hair up. I grabbed his towel and began to scrub his head. Why can't I get a picture of that? Hey, Chizaru. Do people ever call you pushy? Well, I don't think I always am. I'm probably pushy because I'm dealing with you. Were you always like this? I feel like I remember a time when you were nice and quiet. I ground my teeth. He knew he was sick, but he wasn't taking care of himself at all. Okay, I think it's dry now, Chizaru. Hey! He ducked out from under my hands and quickly tied his hair up. I stared at him at a loss for words. He frowned a little and turned away. Now you're quiet. This is... Does this mean you're done whining? Or did you want to talk to me about something? No, that's not... I meant... What does "you're really good with your hands" mean? Is there a double entendre? Entendre? A double innuendo there? I just want to know what "you're really good with your hands" leads to. I mean, don't you feel Chilly's just gonna be like, stop being a mother hen? You're really good with your hands? Oh, because he tied his hair up, like, really nicely without a mirror or anything? Okay. I'm just waiting for him to, like, turn this around in a different way. I was just thinking that you're pretty good with your hands. You tied your hair up so quickly. Really? Didn't think it was that impressive. Maybe I'm just used to it. I mean, I've probably tied it up like that 1,000... He stopped mid-sentence and turned to stare at me. What's wrong? Chizaru, I have a question for you. Oh? Nothing, you know, important, so don't put too much thought into it. What do you think of my hair? How it looks, I mean. What? It was the last thing I could ever imagine hearing from Okita, or any of the captains for that matter. What do I think of your hair? I'd be okay with you having it down more often. But he looked entirely serious, so I did my best to answer honestly. I think it looks good. I don't know quite how to explain it, but it's very... you. I guess that was a good answer. Good. Thanks, Chizaru. No problem. I felt myself blush at his smile. Just calling it like I see it. I don't think you really need to thank me for that. Well, you made me happy, so I thought the right thing to do was to say thanks. Actually, I might as well let you in on a secret. Oh? I'm sort of copying Kondo's. His hair, I mean. He looked somewhere halfway between proud and embarrassed. Really? I gotta look at Kondo's hair again. It's like your own version of it? That's kind of cool. Yeah, I didn't realize it before, but it does look like his. Don't tell anybody else, though, okay? They'd all just make fun of me. Okay, sure. I wasn't used to seeing Okita so relaxed and easygoing. Perhaps he wasn't quite as cruel as I'd originally thought. There's something sweet and almost kind, but he was mean and he was coarse and unrefined. And now he's dear and so unsure. I wonder why I didn't see it there before. The nervous feeling in my stomach that he usually caused was nowhere to be found. I'm sorry for bothering you like that. I'll just go back to my room. I spun around and walked away as quickly as I could. I had climbed the stairs and was on my way down the hallway when... Chizaru. I turned around to see him walking down the hall. He looked around furtively to see if anyone else was within earshot, then leaned in. It looks like you haven't told anyone about my, condition. Yes, of course. I promised. I'm just a little surprised. You're pretty honest. I didn't actually expect you to do that. Only supposed to be soldiers that care about duty and stuff. He looked almost sad. I didn't keep my promise because I felt like I owed you. I looked at him straight in the eyes as I said that. I mean, if I tell anyone, you'll kill me, right? I don't want to die, so I'll never tell anyone. Your secret's safe. His eyes narrowed, and for a few moments he just looked at me. Yeah, I guess that was our deal. If you made any trouble by spreading that little tidbit around, then I'd kill you. I hope you make sure it stays a secret then, Chizaru. Wouldn't want to have to make good on that deal. I know, I will. But I chose my words carefully. I know you're not just doing this to be stubborn, but if you want to do the things you want to do, you have to take care of yourself. Please. I've been curious about this for a while now, but why are you so worried about me, Chizaru? To be honest, I'm not really sure. There was no avoiding that he was a frightening man, and indeed often a cruel one as well. But I still found myself wanting desperately for him to live. I couldn't tell if it was just pity or something else. I really don't get you. You've got to... Suddenly his voice seemed to choke itself off, and he hunched forward. Okita! His body shook with each cough, and I ran toward him. But he shoved my hands away. No, we were having a moment. Don't do this. Don't touch me, all right? I'm fine. But... He turned away and stalked off down the hallway. It was easy to forget the disease that was even now eating away at Okita's body. He was, in all appearances, in fine health. That easy ignorance, however, was what made reminders of his condition all the more painful. I felt my hands tighten into fists as I stood there in the hallway, alone and helpless,